Yeah.
Most people don't deserve to be proud of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I have confidence issues. And I say, if I was you, I would have confidence issues. Of course. I completely understand why you have confidence issues. You're a dork. But we have to be realistic here. We have to be absolutely and utterly realistic, because the world is brutal and it's harsh. If you're not proud of yourself, you probably don't deserve to be proud of yourself, so you're not going to feel happy. And you just talked about confidence. Confidence comes from competence. The reason I'm confident is because I'm good at everything.
Right.
I'm good at everything I do. The things I'm not good at, I'm not confident in, of course. And I know what they are. I don't do them very often. I've now created my reality to the point where I don't do anything I'm not good at.
You just hire.
I either hire or I just don't want to do it. Like I don't play darts.
Yeah.
I'm not good at darts, right? I do what I'm good at. Yeah. So yeah, I'm absolutely and utterly confident because I'm absolutely and utterly competent, and that takes practice and discipline and motivation, and you need to fail a few times. You need to get up. And like I said earlier, when I learned my entire mindset in professional fighting and chess, the two combined, that's how it comes down to. And when people say, oh, I have competence issues, usually I can look them up and down and say, yeah, if I was you, I would completely and utterly struggle with confidence issues. Because the world is competitive, and there's men like me on the planet and friends like mine on the planet, and you're competing against us for money, for girls, for status, for resource, and you're going to be destroyed and decimated the entire time. So of course you have confidence issues when you can be annihilated in real time by the competitor. Yeah. Why wouldn't you have confidence issues? You'd be psychopathic not to. Well, it's supposed to be. Yeah. This is the thing that I don't truly understand. If I'm unhappy with something and I'm uncomfortable with something, I fix it.
Yeah.
That's endless motivation, which I don't truly believe in as a concept, but that's endless fuel for the fire.
Right.
If I was unhappy with something about myself, regardless of what it was, I would be able to take all of that discomfort and turn it into endless energy to get the problem fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
But these people seem to
It's okay to be unhappy.
Yeah, well, these people seem to sit and say, I'm really unhappy with X, but then stay doing X. So I don't believe they're truly actually unhappy. What you'll notice if you live life long enough is that somebody will sit and say to you, I'm unhappy being a loser. You say, why are you a loser? I just sit at home and play video games 7 days a week. And you're like, okay. And maybe 3 days of the week they're unhappy doing that. And that's the time they email you, and that's the time they want to make a change. But 4 days of the week, they don't really, it doesn't really bother them.
Yeah,
it doesn't really bother them. Because if it bothered them 7 days a week, guess what?
They would fix it.
Correct. Yeah. So I have very little sympathy for people. And that's not because I'm not a nice person, but it's because I've been so hard on myself, and I've been through so many things that were difficult, and I've been through so much pain and trauma myself, some of it self-inflicted, some of it given to me by God to make me a better person. But I've been so difficult on myself. It's very hard for me to look at somebody who's refused to be difficult on themselves and see them as my equal or feel sympathy or pity for them. Why would I feel pity for somebody who took the easy route when I took the hardest possible route? Yeah. I took the hardest possible way to be the man I am, and you were too big of a and now you want me to feel sorry for you? I don't feel sorry for you. Yeah. I don't feel sorry for these people. And because as a man, you can be anything you decide you want to be. That's the beauty of being a male. You can build your character completely from the ground up, just like a video game. Every single thing about me that people respect, I built. I was not born a world champion kickboxer. I was not born this intelligent or intellectual. I was not born this rich. I was not born this strong. I was not born this confident. I was not born this interesting. I was not born this charismatic and humble and gorgeous and tall and strong and sexy. I was not born none of these things. I became these things myself. So I deserve all the spoils of war. And anybody who decides they don't want to work hard enough to become those things, then they deserve to sit and accept they're my inferior. Yeah. That's their problem. I couldn't sleep when I was broke. And this is where we're talking about being uncomfortable and how it can motivate you. When I didn't have enough money to buy whatever I wanted, I couldn't fall asleep at night because I understood there are people out there that did, and I didn't see them as better than me. And I thought, why are these people who I don't see as my superior living an experience that I can't live? And it bothered me to the point where I could not sleep. So yeah, that was real. When you talk about suffering mentally, I don't really consider that suffering. I have had a very painful life. I still think to a degree I do, but that's self-inflicted. But I can't imagine living any other way. I can't imagine living in this idea, this utopian, every day, just, girls, drink, hedonism. I don't want that. Yeah, it's degenerate. I think the only thing you can do that's not degenerate is usually be fighting a battle or solving a problem.
Growth.
Yeah, growth. Yeah, so you need to either fight a battle or solve a problem to avoid degeneracy, which means I'm constantly looking for them. I'm currently in one of the largest battles a man can possibly take on. I'm taking on the Matrix, the most powerful people on the planet.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, is my life difficult? Yeah. Am I complaining about that? No. In fact, I'd hate it for it to be any other way. I've had some invites to some strange places with some strange people. I've had some anonymous messages which I verified to be true, which were scary, I guess you could say. I've definitely been contacted by the Matrix in and of itself. But initially, when they speak to you, they try to make you change sides.
They try to switch you.
Well, they try and get a degree of leverage over you, or they try and bribe you, or they try and get you to sell your soul.
Yeah.
So they'll try and invite you to a party where you do some degeneracy and they get it on video, or they try and get a threat against you and try and blackmail you, or they try and offer you a whole ton of money for this contract, but you have to be careful what you say now, and you have to. They try very hard initially to get you
without violence.
Yeah, without violence. They try with degeneracy. That's what they try. And that's
distractions.
Yeah, well, you know, most people's hearts and souls can be bought. So when they can print unlimited money, why would they go the route of violence? They can just print unlimited money and give it to somebody and own them.
Yeah.
But when you're like me and you don't care about money,
yeah.
and you also have morals as a person, I am their threat. They can't buy me. And they've tried, and they can't convince me with a little bit either, or a lot. They can't. I'd rather go without. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So they can't.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. So, and that frustrates them because 99% of men in my position start chasing girls, chasing money, and then you end up controlled. Yeah, I don't think I've ever would have sold my soul because I have a baseline morality. However, yeah, you're right. I do live in abundance, so it's easy for me to say no. But greed is real, and humans are all naturally greedy.
They still want more.
No matter how much you have, you want more, right? Yeah. If someone comes along now and offers me $200-300 million, you're still going to sit and think, that would be nice, right? But let's even talk about Islam. That's the reason I have so much respect for Islam as a whole, because I have so much respect for it because they have a baseline morality. We're here in Dubai. You could walk outside and find a poor construction worker who just moved here, who's earning, I don't know, no money, can barely afford to eat, and offer him $1 million to denounce the Prophet. He won't do it.
No way.
He'll never do
chance.
it. He'll never do it. Whereas in the West, if you were to go and find a Christian,
$1.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything, right? So it's that baseline morality that they can't corrupt, that they're afraid of. It's why they're afraid of Islam. It's why they're afraid of me. It's why they're afraid of people who sit and say there is more to life and existence in this and the next than simply degeneracy. Yeah, they don't like anything they can't completely and utterly control.
Yeah, and Muslims are uncontrollable.
Well, yeah, they have a higher purpose and a higher calling. I do think a lot of the world's problems, especially in the West, with the absolute degeneracy and the work of, what do you say, shaitan?
Shaitan, yeah.
The work of shaitan?
Shaitan.
It could be fixed with Islam.
Honestly,
I call for the Islamification of all Western countries because Christianity has absolutely and utterly failed. The idea of a religion is to preserve the morality and preserve the traditions of a country.
Exactly.
If you have failed to do that, then you're no longer a religion. If you're going to sit there and inside of your own country, your prophets are mocked, all of your ideals are ignored.
And it's okay.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And society is degenerating in real time, and your children are no longer safe from brainwashing by the Matrix, then your religion in and of itself as a concept has failed. Christianity has failed to preserve Christian values on any level in any country ever. So now that you know it's a failed religion, that only leaves one religion left in which you can install. Degeneracy will disappear. Crime will disappear. Men and women will stay families again. People will have children. And all the world's problems will be fixed.
They'll chase their goals.
Absolutely. I call for the Islamification of the entire Western world because otherwise we have atheistic countries. And when you remove religion, now what do you have? People are now adhering to woke ideology and this new insane religion. Everybody has a religion. If you remove Christianity from the West, you don't have atheists. You now have these people adhering to this woke new world liberal psychopathy where people are doing absolutely insane and disgusting things to each other and children, and they're sitting there saying that that's progressive somehow, and it's absolutely and utterly disgusting. So if we need a God to believe in to preserve morality and decency amongst humanity, then let's have a God that people actually fear and respect. And that's why Islam is the only religion left on the planet. There's no other religion you can possibly name that even matters. What's made me the most money is the War Room. The War Room is a private members organization that I run. So when I first got
this is interesting.
When I got extremely wealthy, I wanted to know where I kind of felt like I'd gone to outer space expecting to see aliens, and I got there and there were none.
No aliens.
I was like, where is everybody? Okay, I'm rich, but I expected once I became rich to meet other men who were rich, focused, intelligent, had their dating lives in order, their physical health in order, their finances in order, their connections in order. And I got to the top of the mountain. I looked around and realized nobody had it. Like, yeah, this guy's rich, but he's cucked by his wife and he's fat. This guy's rich, but he's controlled by the Matrix. This guy's rich, but he's dummy. He just made a bunch of money making music, rap. He's an idiot. This guy's rich. Like, and there was nobody who had it all.
Yeah.
I was like, and I wanted a network of genuine predators. I wanted the Freemasons almost. I thought I didn't want to join their organizations, but
You
I
wanted
wanted
people like you,
I
like
wanted
minded.
people like me. So I started an organization to find those men.
Yeah.
So now we have 3,000 members all around the world.
Wow.
A lot of them are very, very wealthy. A lot of them aren't. We have people who join who are 18-year-old brokies with nothing. That's fine.
They spent all their money on joining.
That's fine, yeah. Because if you're prepared to listen and learn, then you're in the right place. If you spend all of your time sitting around people who talk about how to become powerful and influential and rich,
You're just
guess what you're going to end up being?
Yeah.
Powerful, influential, and rich. So now I have the greatest network on the face of the planet. And when I say it's maybe the most money, it's not because of the membership fee. The membership fee is very low. It's cheap. It's because of the opportunities and connections inside of the war room. And that's why I am ultra competitive, and that's why nobody will ever beat me. If you're an individual and you wake up and think, I want to make my life better, and you spend 8 hours reading a book, that's fine. When I wake up to maybe 25 messages from some of the most influential and rich people on the planet that you've never heard of, telling me, buy this now. This is an opportunity to make money on the Russian ruble. This is an opportunity to make money
British
here.
pound, yeah.
This is an opportunity to make money on this land. This is what's going down in Iraq. Here we have an opportunity in Nairobi. Here and I'm sitting there going, okay. And I have got all this curated information and genuine opportunities in real time presented to me. And within 15 minutes, I've made a $5 million investment.
Yeah.
You're on page 1. You're still reading your book.
The introduction.
You're still reading.
The
Yeah,
first
you're still
chapter.
reading the introduction. And this is why, against people like me and my network and the other people inside the war room, you will always lose.
Yeah.
So the war room's maybe the most money, but not because of membership fees or anything like that, because of the genuine connections and opportunities inside of the war room. And we're just free minds. Anybody who listens to what I say and agrees with it and likes it should understand that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
100%.
And if you know
100%.
that, then you need to make sure you're not spending time with anybody you don't want to be.
yeah.
So people who join the war room, they join and they want to become professional. They want to become absolutely not really professional. And like I said, we have extremely seasoned and experienced and successful men, but we also have people joining saying with nothing, but they're humble enough to learn. I come here, I'm young, I don't have any money, or I'm old, I have a little bit of money, or whatever it is, but I am here to learn and absorb.
I want to commit.
I want to commit. And if you learn and absorb and you're in the right place, then you can do fantastically well. So the war room, I mean, with the war room network now, I could never be broke ever again. It's impossible for me to ever go poor. I have access to billions of dollars I could loan from these men because I know they could trust me if they wanted to. I have a place I can sleep in 3,000 different locations around the world in big mansions. If I needed a Lambo, they'd send it to me. If I needed a visa for a country that you can't get a visa for, someone there will have a business to give me an LLC, to give me a visa via their business. If I need a jet, it comes. If I need information on anything, if I need to do a money transfer to Afghanistan, which if anyone's tried, they know how difficult that is. I got a guy who fixes that. It's all there. It's everything. So whenever I have any problem in my life, no matter what it is, I go to the war room. And in fact, I'll prove the power of the war room right now. I became the most Googled man on the planet.
Yes.
I hacked every single social media algorithm to a way which people are sitting there trying to work out how I did it, and they can't work out exactly how it's done. The war room did that. I went to them and said, I've decided to go overt. As opposed to being underground, I want to go overt and break mainstream. And 4 months later, I was the most Googled man on the planet.
The war room did that.
Of course. There's not many organizations on the planet that can do something like that.
No, none.
So when you have something that powerful, I created it because I wish it existed. That's what I was looking for when I got rich, and it didn't exist, so I created it myself.
Yeah.
And it's also, and I'll say this now, for any young man or any man who's serious about his journey or serious about himself, it's the most important place you can be. You're going to learn absolutely everything about the realities of Earth. Do not waste your time in some university. Do not waste your time reading books. Do not waste your time on YouTube watching some dork talk about Amazon FBA. Don't be an idiot. Join the war room and you'll learn, and there's a spiritual journey involved as well. But every single person who joins the war room ends up being an absolute consummate professional. And that's the most profitable enterprise. Yeah, so I'm a proponent of crypto. I do use crypto, Bitcoin, ETH, the big ones.
Okay.
I think that chasing crypto pumps is now over. The bull run's over. The stupid money is gone. Most people don't understand about crypto that it's person versus person. I see they launch these coins and then they start a Telegram community. And then if you go in the community,
Discord,
if you get in the community, everyone's like, yeah, we're all in this together. No, you're not.
No.
You're not in this together. If you're buying, or if you're selling, if you buy crypto at $1 and then you sell it at $10. Someone bought it off you at $10.
Probably in that same Telegram.
Probably in the same Telegram group. So you're literally stealing money from the other people in your community, the other people who believe in the project. You're stealing money from them. It's player versus player. They start these stupid communities so all of you sit there and don't dump so that the developer can dump. You're all dummies.
All of you guys.
You're all dummies. It's player versus player. And a lot of the dumb money is now gone. People who were stupid, who believed in all this
learned
crap,
their lesson.
they've lost all their money. So now the only people left in crypto is the smart money, and that's very, very hard to steal, right? So I think that the idea of chasing a pump right now is very foolish. I also think that one of the detrimental things about crypto is that it recently made people a bunch of money. Yeah, sure. In the last 2 to 3 years, or 6 months, at 9 months, whatever it was, the bull run. But the people who made money with crypto didn't learn any real skills. They didn't learn sales. They didn't learn marketing. They didn't learn management. Didn't learn how to deal with stress. Didn't learn how to grow a company. Didn't learn how to deal with taxes.
They didn't struggle.
They didn't learn anything. They didn't struggle. There was no pain. They bought a coin. They watched it go up. Now they tell the world how smart they are. They think they're a genius. They think they're too good to work, these people. Nah, I'm too smart to work. You don't understand. I know crypto. I bought this coin. My friend, every single coin went up. You're not a genius. Everything went up. All of them went up. You could have bought anything. You were in the right place at the right time. You made a little bit of money, but you've learned absolutely zero. And unfortunately, if you have money but no lessons and you're still a dummy, that money is not going to last long, and you're going to lose it. And the world we live in now is also hyper expensive. Like, you make a couple $100,000 and you think you're rich.
You lose 20% the same day.
Bro, like, inflation. The amount of money you need nowadays to be considered rich is ridiculous. I was with Dan Bilzerian a couple weeks ago, and I was telling him how quickly my life has changed. I used to go to a holiday for a week with 500, 600 pounds, right, for the week. When Dan messaged me and said, hey, let's hang out, he was in France, I was in Romania. I was like, cool. I had some cars in Germany I had trucked over to wait for me there because the roads are nice. I organized my jet from Bucharest to France. I needed a security team to come with me. I hired the security team to come with me. I like to use my Romanian guys, so we had to get a bigger jet to accommodate them. By the time we jetted in with the security team, picked up the cars, everybody, 6 or 7 people needed 5-star hotel rooms. Everybody ate food. I sat and had a meeting with Dan. I took the cars for a spin around the mountains, went to a spa a little bit, jumped back on the jet with the entire security team, put the cars back on a truck to Germany, and flew home. So by the time I had a 3-hour meeting with a friend, it cost me 400 grand.
Oh my goodness.
That's how expensive the world is at the top. So when you're sitting there and you've made 200 grand on a crypto pump, and you think, oh yeah, I'm rich. You are a brokey, and you haven't even learned any lessons. You're a dummy. So I think crypto's bad for kids because it has a whole bunch of kids out here thinking they don't need to work hard. They don't need to dedicate themselves. They don't need to learn important lessons. They can just chase a pump and win the lottery, and it ain't going to happen. That's why you lose all their money. So that's the bad thing about crypto. And that's why I'll sit here right now and do a plug and say, join the real world instead, and join Hustlers University instead, and learn real lessons that you can apply to anything. So you'll never be broke, and have a real network like the war room. So you can never be broke. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes to $1 million or zero. I'll make money either way. I'll make money either way. Because I have skills, and not by day trading, not by that. I'm just going to know things other people don't know before they know them. I'm just going to have opportunities identified and presented to me before other people have them. And it doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes down to zero or it goes up to $10 million a coin. Either way, I'm going to make insanely large sums of money because of my network and because I'm respected and because I know important people. And that's the problem with these crypto kids. They have none of that. I'd like to think I'm pretty all encompassing when it comes to strengths, and I've made sure of that. My father had a saying, which is now my saying, as I'm the oldest Tate. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. And I stand by that. I do like to believe I'm a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. If someone were to come up to you and say, you have to have a skateboarding competition, but don't worry, the guy you're skateboarding against can't skateboard. You'd be like, cool. And then I turned up. Part of you would be like, shit. Even I can't even skateboard. But part of you would be like, Tate.
This guy.
It's not this guy. You know, I'm just that guy.
He's pretty good.
I'm just that guy I'm just good at stuff. And nobody wants to compete against me at anything. So I'm good at everything. My weaknesses, I've strongly analyzed my weaknesses. In fact, I've sat around with friends of mine and with people who I care about dearly and who care about me back and said, if I had to hurt me, how would I do it? If I decided to do damage to me in my life, how would I do it? Where are my weaknesses? It's been analyzed and talked about and discussed at length. Because
you need to do that reflection.
You have to know. Most people don't do that. No. Most people don't say, if someone wanted to ruin my life, how would they ruin it? So I know all of my weaknesses. I know all my weak points. Obviously, I defend and guard them the best you can, but obviously not everything can be completely defended and guarded. I know what they are. I'm not going to advertise them to the feral psychopaths of Earth. But I think in terms of how difficult a target on Earth is, I'm certainly one of the top hardest people on Earth to damage, whether emotionally, psychologically, physically, etc. I'm extremely difficult to damage because I live a reality in which I'm very conscious of these things, paranoid perhaps, and I'm hard to get to. Most men, you can just steal his girlfriend. Most men, you just steal his chick.
Exactly.
You steal his chick or just run up on him when he goes to the chicken chip shop. And most men are so easy to hurt. Most men you can just lie about in the media, matrix attack them, and they'll have a mental breakdown. Most men are so absolutely not mentally
They'll say
weak.
sorry.
They'll cry. I did none of that stuff, right? Most men, you can just message his girl. You can just get a famous guy with a blue tick to message his girl, and bam. Before you know it, she's in his bed talking about how that man. Like, most men are absolutely not easy to hurt.
They're controlled by all their emotions.
Completely.
But how do you detach yourself from your emotions?
It's not about detaching yourself from your emotions. I feel every single emotion. It's just about using them all. It's using them all in a positive direction.
Yeah.
If I feel extremely happy and excited, I'm going to use that as motivation or energy to do amazing things and do good and work hard. If I feel absolutely depressed and distraught, I'm going to use that as endless energy and motivation to do amazing things and work hard. It doesn't matter what you give me. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted and transferred. It doesn't matter what fuel you give me. If you give me diesel, petrol, kerosene, vodka, doesn't matter what you put inside of my engine.
Hard work is going to come out.
Absolutely.
Success.
That's all I know how to do.
Yeah.
That's all I know how to do. It doesn't matter what fuel you put in my engine. My engine only knows how to do one thing, and that is succeed. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you feed me with. I'm going to be massively successful regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I missed my father's funeral because I just moved to Romania. I had just invested every single penny I had in this enterprise. I was now the oldest man alive in the Tate family. I had to look after my mother and my siblings and take care of people. I had to make a choice. Do I fly back to America and spend money and time and go to this funeral and, waste a few weeks? Or do I sit here and just focus on this enterprise and make sure that it cannot fail? And we talked earlier about speed. Most people go, it's only 2 weeks. It's only a week. It's only a week. The people who say it's only a week are the people who are broke.
They don't value time.
That's the reason you're all poor, because you say it's only a week. So, it's tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it later. It's only an hour. It's only a day. It's only a minute. You are competing against people like me. We do not waste a second. So I had to make a decision. And I decided that as the oldest man in the family, it's more important that I achieve financial stability for all of us than to go and pay respects to my father and his funeral, because I paid respect to him every single day of his life, and I pay respect to his memory every single day now, and I pay respect to him by being monumentally successful. The reason my father is talked about and discussed at length is because of the absolutely amazing son I've become. Yeah. I am keeping him alive forever by working so hard, by becoming so unique and individual and fantastic and humble. The world asks me about my upbringings, and then my father's memory is kept alive. So I know I made the right decision, and I know he's happy with the decision I made. Yeah. A lot of people would have gotten emotional and decided, I had to go to the funeral and had a breakdown and went to the funeral and been sad, etc., etc.
You did what your dad thought.
I did what I was taught to do, which is perform. Yeah. That's what I was taught to do. I was upset, obviously. I was sad, obviously. I was heartbroken, of course. But I took all of that energy, and I worked harder than I've ever worked. I worked 22-hour days for months because I couldn't sleep. Yeah. And I became one of the most successful people on the planet. Kind of feel like I've lived many different lives. I feel like I've been alive many different times. People ask my life story, and it's hard for me to surmise in one compendious series of events, because I've lived this entire existence as a professional fighter, this entire existence as a webcam owner, this entire existence broke, this entire existence rich. I feel like I've been alive many times, if that makes sense. So it's even difficult for me to surmise my life. It's been so varied. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. So there's only a few cities left on Earth you can even, like, this is just a Chiron watch. I only wear this in Dubai. I wear it in Bucharest, but that's because I have Bucharest locked down head to toe. Most people don't.
It's your place.
It's my place, yeah. Tokyo. Maybe some cities in Australia, which were kind of okay, but they're getting a bit worse. Yeah, that's it. Like that's it. You can't wear it in Western Europe. You can't wear it in America. You can't wear it in South America. You can't wear it in Africa. You can't wear a nice watch that you've earned.
Honestly,
the people will always make excuses, but you're completely right. There's a whole bunch of African nations with mass resource.
Maybe.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of Western nations with a bunch of resource. But yeah, I think it comes down to the leadership and the vision of the leadership and the fact they truly care.
Exactly.
And that's different. And that's an argument that can be long and very, very detailed and interesting about the differences between a democracy and perhaps the ruling system here. Because a democracy, a lot of people get in, they have 3-4 years in power.
If you're too pussy to put your name and your face on your Twitter profile, then you already are a bitch. Done. Hula. If you're too pussy to put your name and your face on your own Twitter, on your own account, then you're a bitch. Every anon is a pussy. All. And they're gonna sit and they go, oh, but you don't understand when you're in the professional corporate, that you ain't in corporate, you work in fucking Starbucks, nerd. Talking shit, you ain't in no fucking corporate job. And even if you are, I make more per day than you do per month. So who gives a fuck about your job? You probably need to get fired. So anyone who's an anon is a pussy. Limitable Man's an anon with a whole bunch of followers chatting shit. And he's getting fresh, and like it was a long thing with me and him. He used to try and call me out and say things to me on the sly, whatever. But he used to say relatively intelligent musings on females. And then it all came out. He had an internet girlfriend who he's never met in his life. And they were together for 9 months on the internet. And she dumped him, and he had a mental breakdown on Twitter in front of everyone because his 9-month internet girlfriend dumped him. This is the dude who was telling people how to deal with girls. If that doesn't prove the internet's full of fucking frauds, like, what more do you need to, like, what more is there? Why is every leader in the red pill space just a bitter dude who got dumped in a divorce? All. So if you know so much about chicks, why can't you even just stay married? They're all geeks. They look like geeks. And by the logic of the eternal Tristan Tate, if you look like a geek, you must be one. If you look like a geek, you won't be a geek. It's the reality. They're all nerds. So I am the Lord Supreme Commander of that corner of Twitter. No one can step to me in any serious regard. To disagree with me and to step to me in any regard is only to discredit yourself. Because if you cannot acknowledge my supreme abilities and undeniable achievements, then you're nothing but a hater. If you're a hater, you're a little bitch. You cannot come on Twitter and type Tate doesn't understand females and press enter without doing anything other than making yourself look stupid. I don't even have to reply. You look like a dickhead if you type that. And everyone knows you're a dickhead. They're like, okay, this dude doesn't know shit. So you think Tate doesn't know shit. You don't know shit. That's it. So I'm basically Supreme Commander of Twitter. I'm basically Lord of all beasts of the land and fishes in the sea. So that's the answer to the question. I'm the Lord of all beasts on the land and fishes in the sea. I know who doesn't like me out there. I know who they all are. And then none of them will at me. None of them. Illimitable Man's the only one who kind of half atted me when his girlfriend dumped him, and me and his girlfriend were making fun of him in the inbox. His girlfriend was like, yeah, he's a fucking loser. And I was sitting there going, yeah, I know, the loser. Making fun of him. His girl, he was crying over his chick, and she was making fun of him, sending me the screenshots of him telling her he's going to kill himself.
Some people like catfish, dude, you know?
This is a dude who teaches how to get girls. Like, I know who these people are, man. They're all fucking bumblecluts. I know who doesn't like me. There's loads of dudes who don't like me, but they can't say anything. What can you do? What can you do when your brand is entrepreneurs in cars, and I have more cars than you, more money than you, and I've never been divorce raped, and I don't pay for girls to be with me, I don't buy prostitutes? How can you at me on Twitter? Like, what can you say to me? Like, it's just, I'm untouchable. I'm like fucking, I don't know, name someone untouchable.
Steven Seagal.
I'm Steven motherfucking Seagal.
Nice callback. Solid.
So what are you gonna say? You can't say shit to Big Daddy Tate.
Yeah.
Then what happened was, to add to it all, that Mike Stitchbury guy, I knocked on his door. That put waves through the Twitter world because everyone's like, shit, Tate's crazy. He turns up at your house. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'll knock on your door. You got something to say to me, no problem. I'll knock on your door. That's not even a threat. I'm not even threatening anybody. I'm just saying I will come. I will knock. I'll say hello. We'll see if you have the same demeanor when I'm standing there. And you won't. You're a pussy. And I've got all the money and time in the world. I can fly to anywhere on this planet. I don't care if you live in Timbuktu, motherfucking too. I will turn up first class.
Shit, dude, you're not even hiring a private jet.
You know, I'm not into private flying yet. In fact, I said to Tristan only a couple days ago, I need to get a private jet just to get Instagram pictures to flex on the brokers. So we called a private jet company, and we were looking at flights from Bucharest to somewhere nearby, a 1-hour flight. But there's very few private jets in Romania. It's not like from London to Paris is actually quite cheap. You can do it for like $5,000. You get a jet because it's so often. But Romania, the only private jets are actually owned by people, by like the politicians and stuff. So to get a private jet here, it's like $20,000 to get it here, and then it's another flight there, and then another flight back. This is going to cost me like $60,000 or something. The next time I'm in, which ain't worth it for Instagram. The next time I'm in London, I'm going to fly to Paris on a private jet. me, Tristan, 10 of my females. I'm gonna try and bring a dog as well, like my dog, luggage, booze, just to make the broke boys upset. I think I'm a nice guy, and people are not gonna believe me. Like, what? You're not nice guy, you're a dickhead. I don't know anyone like me, and I'm talking about people with more money than me, who will pick up every bill they sit in front of, who will blow spend 20 grand on champagne so everyone else can have fun and they ain't even drinking, who will take everyone out, who will just, I'm the least frugal human on earth. If I have $10, I'll spend it all. Don't give a shit. So I consider myself an excellent host. If people come to Romania, I go out of my way and clear my schedule to do activities I wouldn't normally do to make sure they enjoy their time. I'm the best host on earth, and I'll pay for the whole fucking thing. So I consider myself a very nice guy. And I do that just because that's the kind of person I am. I'm a nice man. That's why. That's why I do it, because I'm a nice man. If I like you, I want you to have fun. I understand that I'm relatively, I'm not rich, but I'm relatively fortunate financially, and I'm happy to pay for it because I want you to enjoy your time, and it's my gift to you. That's one thing. The people who I hire to work for me, working for me is exceptionally difficult. I'm not gonna sit and pretend it's easy, because everything good in life comes at the end of difficulty. So I have to find people who understand that. Like this ain't, I'm not just like, oh, send me your CV and okay, maybe I'll send your CV, we'll test. No, I don't want bumblecluts working. I can't stand that. Like, I can't have bumblecluts working for me. Like the people who work for me have to be capable of dealing with the realities of Earth. Realities of Earth is that we need to make shitloads of money, we need to do it now. And if you fuck with me too tough, I'll punch you in the face. That's who I am as a man. So the people who work for me need to understand that. So it's my team it's a very unique individuals. But anyone who can work with me for long enough is going to leave with the life skills it takes to be a millionaire. Like making money really isn't that difficult. What's difficult is finding people you can make money with who aren't fucking millionaires. This is the only problem I have left in my life, is finding staff who aren't ridiculous. It's super hard. It's super hard. Like really, it's genuinely super hard to do. So if like when people sit and go, oh yeah, and I don't know, like everyone has different philosophies to business. My philosophy to business is probably completely different than everyone else's. But when I see like people just, oh, I've put a team together in 2 weeks and there's 10 of us, I'm sitting there thinking, if you found 10 people in 2 weeks, 9 are shit. Fact.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, it's probably 10. Like I don't care what's on their CV, they're shit. You know? So it's finding good people. Like I don't hire people because I have a gap. I hire people based on who they are and I find a gap. So if I find someone now who I think is good, I'll hire them anyway. I'll find them a job later. If their attitude's right and they understand, then I'll hire them and I'll find a job. As opposed to thinking, I need someone for this, let me find someone. I do it the other way around. You know, but it's so rare I find people who genuinely understand the mission to conquer Earth.
I do not like to hang around with men who suffer from a lack of women, because in my experience, any man who can't get women will eventually sell you out for women. It's too powerful a force. Too powerful a force. If you're completely sex deprived all the time, sooner or later you're going to sell your boys out for sex, whether it's his ex or some girl talking bad about your boy, but you really want the pussy, so you let her slide. If you're not good with girls, I don't want to talk to you. Second thing is money. You haven't got to be rich, but if you're starving, you're going to try and sneak some money out of somebody, right? If you can't eat, you'll do anything for food. If you can't pay the bills, you do anything for money. That means whether it's a plea bargain, whether it's trying to rob me, whether it's money sitting around my house. I don't want to talk to extremely broke people. I don't want to talk to extremely sex deprived people for the same reason I wouldn't have a whole bunch of food around a hungry person. Same reason. It's the first two things. Next thing is loyalty. And I know that's super hard to judge, but I really like to believe that the few people I hang around with, if we were all in separate police interviews and they were to come and say, hey, your boy turned, I could literally burst out laughing. Say, bro, you better come with a new story, G. You better go away and think about it and come back. Well, we can talk, but don't try that one. Try again. So loyalty is very, very important. Next is bravery, because can't fight is fine, but won't fight isn't. Won't fight is unacceptable in every way. If I'm with my 5 friends and I'm going toilet in the club and I come back and I see someone punch one of my friends, I am annihilating anybody in that guy's crew. We'll find out why later. My guy could have been wrong. It could have been my guy's fault. I'm just hitting him. I'm just knocking everyone. When everyone's asleep and the threat is neutralized, I'm like, bro, The fuck was that? He goes, oh, I started it. I was like, oh, fucking. Well,
Ask for forgiveness later.
First, people have to pay, right? We'll worry about the whys afterwards. So they have to have that loyalty and that devotion to the bravery, the ability to fight. I find it very crazy. I find it crazy, and I say this often to guys. I say, you're rolling around with these men who won't even fight to protect you because they're cowards. So they'll watch you get your head stomped to death and cower out and not even try and help you. And they'll be like, yeah, but he's funny. But he's funny? We're talking about life and death. You're talking about fucking funny? Like, so if I can smell on someone that they wouldn't even attempt, I don't want to be anywhere near them for the same reason. And general professionalism. I've developed a habit where I punish myself for the smallest unprofessional actions. If I misplace my keys or misplace my phone, and it takes me more than 10 minutes to find it, I'll punish myself for that. Regardless, whether it's I don't spend money this week, or I don't go here, or I'm canceling that, or I'm going to defer buying something I want. But I punish myself religiously so that next time I put my phone down, I know where I put my phone. Next time I put it down, I know where I put it all the time. When I put it down, I know where my phone is. So when I'm around people like, hey, I lost my keys, or hey, bro, I forgot. When I'm around sloppy people, I don't like it. I like people who have their lives in order. When I detect sloppiness, I don't really want them too close to me, because gaps are where things sneak in. Other things are basic OPSEC, really basic OPSEC. I like that if I'm around my friends, if I'm ever sitting with my back to a room, this is an enclosed environment, but in a normal restaurant, I never sit with my back to the room. But if I have to do it, I like that I never do it, but if I have to do it, the people I roll with, they'll literally give me a nod. We'll sit down at dinner and I have to sit here, they'll go. And they'll pay extra attention for me because I can't see behind me. I like that level of professionalism. I like that. I like people, like I said, don't get weak, no hangovers, no crying their eyes out, no cowardice. It's infectious. Don't like that around me. No negativity. Don't like that around me. So there's certain things that I create a very, very particular reality. And it's actually interesting because to me, these things are all normal. But when you have these kind of standards, it's pretty hard to find friends. You're like, oh, you're a dumbass. You're a pussy. You're like, and you don't talk to that many people. But if you get a crew together that act that way, it's amazing how, not to get all airy-fairy, but it's almost an intangible. When you have 6 men in one place who are perspicacious, who are paying attention, who do have their things right, who don't lose things, who do it, the whole room can smell it. When me and my crew walk in a room, even if it's almost like an energy. Some guy can be eating his dinner and not even see us walk in and go, 6 predators. It's like the rabbit when the fox comes. Like you can smell when the guys turn up. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's experienced it. Everyone's seen it. So anyone I associate with, I have these very, very stringent metrics, and they're basically just to make sure that nobody gets inspired by something they can't resist to snake us. And also nobody's overly sloppy and allows a way for us to be infiltrated and destroyed. And one of the easiest ways that people, especially in the modern world today, especially people in my position, are infiltrated and destroyed are women. So with women, I create that very heavily. If you get a guy who's thirsty and he's on your crew, let's say I have problems with another crew, let's say, and I know they have a member who's thirsty. That is the easiest job in the world. You get one hot bitch to Instagram message, you're gonna find out where they are, what they're doing, where they've been, the hotel room right now. It's fucking done deal. You can do whatever you want to them idiots, right? You gotta have guys who can turn that shit down. I've had it a bunch of times in my life where I've been in countries. I was in Sofia, Bulgaria. I was talking to this girl. She's like, hey, she's 10 out of 10. And I've been talking to her for a few weeks. She's like, hey, let's meet at this place. I'm like, let's go here. No, this is my favorite place. Let's go here. And I was like, no. I'll turn pussy down. I could have been wrong. Could have been right. Could have been right. We're never gonna know. I'll turn it down. But if you have that guy in your crew, hey bro, she's so hot, bro, so hot. That's problems for you and him and everyone else. So you gotta be very careful with the kind of life you're living. But if you live with people who have their lives in order, it's important. But professionalism is also a really big one. When I see people who are sloppy, it makes me very uncomfortable. Now that I've analyzed that my father sacrificed his marriage for me and Tristan. Because I think that there was times of massive contention with my mother where he was so principled and so concerned with our upbringing as men that he sacrificed his marriage with my mom for us.
He filed the divorce?
Yeah, so I'll give you a very quick example. I'll tell you a very quick story that surmises it. So they were still together when we moved to England. My father was still in America. He came over to visit. And my mom said to me a couple days before he comes, your dad's coming. We're gonna go get a haircut. And I was must have been about 12 or something. Went to get a haircut. We went to our normal hairdresser. Hairdresser wasn't there. Got some other hairdresser. Cut my hair. Whatever. And when we got back to the house, my mom's like, I don't like how she cut your hair. She cut your hair wrong. She cut your hair wrong. And I'm only 12, right? So I'm like, yeah, she cut my hair wrong. She cut my hair wrong. So when my dad came, my dad turns up. He's only there for like a couple hours. I haven't seen him in nearly 6 months. I said, oh, yeah. My mom said, I hate the way they cut his hair. And my dad, and I said, yeah, they cut my hair wrong today. And my dad lost his temper. He said, what the fuck are you doing? You're raising my sons to bitches? What the fuck are you talking about haircuts? I leave you here with my boys and you're talking about, tell them to worry about their haircut? They're fucking men. Who cares about their hair? Their haircut doesn't matter. When they grow into men, no one's gonna care what their hair looks like. Their haircuts are stupid. And my mom's like, well, no, Emery, it's just, she cut it wrong, da-da-da. And then my dad was like, listen, I trust you with my boys and you fucking cut their hair wrong. So they got in some big argument. So I'd only seen my dad for 3 hours at this point, fucking 6 months. They got in a big argument. My mom kicked him out of the house. So he left the house, right? So he went to the hotel. And then the next day he called me, he goes, I can't come to that house. Your mom doesn't want me there. Come to me. And I came to him and we went to the hairdresser and I was only 12. So this is a traumatic experience, right? I cried my eyes out. I don't know why I cried, but I was upset. He goes, come with me, boy. He goes, you learn when you're older. You're going to understand when you're older. You're going to shave your head. And I was like, I don't want to shave my head. He goes, listen, you're 12, you're a kid. Nobody cares about your hair. Come here. Sent me down the thing. I had my head shaved, by the way. When I went home, my mom went fucking crazy. This is the story she recited to his death about how crazy my dad was. His dad, Emery's crazy. He made him shave his head. He's so crazy. That is so crazy. But when I shaved my head, my dad said, listen, you're going to grow into a man and you're going to learn that there's so many things that society expects of you and there's so many things that people expect of you and there's so many things people are going to care about. And the last thing on the list is going to be your haircut. You're not going to give a solitary fuck. I'm not going to have you being raised thinking your haircut matters. So people always say, oh, why am I bald, right? So I had hair until about 3-4 years ago and I was remembering this story. So after this story with my mom and father, my mom went nuts, called my dad crazy. He went back to America. So some 3 hours after 6 months because of this haircut thing, because he was so principled, didn't give a shit. So I was sitting in a hairdresser and I was waiting the guy in front of me and he had his haircut and the guy in front of me, he goes, oh, I'm finished. And he goes, oh, excuse me, can you just a little bit here and the top, just a little bit in the top and here and here. And I'm sitting there and I'm just on my phone. I'm like, who gives a fuck? A millimeter? Bro, you're ugly anyway, G. Like, the fuck? No one cares. Like, and he messed around for like 10 minutes fucking with his hair. So when it was my turn and I sat down, it wasn't my normal barber. He goes, hey, how'd you want your hair cut? And I remember the story and I just couldn't. I was like, bro, shave it off. Like, I'm a millionaire, kickboxing world champion. Who gives a fuck about my hair? I haven't had hair since. Like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it.
You just shave your head.
I just shave it off, yeah. Like, I could grow a full head of hair. I just shave it off.
You could?
Yeah, I could, yeah.
You just prefer to be a bald badass.
No, I did it at that day, and ever since I've just been like, oh, it's just easy. I can go anywhere. Shave it off, shave it off, shave it off. But that's an example of my father would destroy his relationship with my mother to try and teach me and Tristan things. And I have so many examples of that. Their biggest arguments were almost him being too principled about me and Tristan and my mother trying to be like, Emery, that's crazy. Or Emery, let him go to sleep. Emery, he doesn't want to play chess. Emery, sometimes my dad was like, no, but he is going to be this way. He has my name. So you can leave the house if you want. Eileen, he's doing this. So I think a lot of his relationship breakdown was actually because he was so principled on us, which is quite a unique perspective, I guess. It's just the thing about emotionality. Because you just nailed it. Even with the best possible intentions, if people are excitable, they're manipulatable and they can be used. This is why stoicism is so important. Let's imagine in a hypothetical situation, you guys would hand me $1 million cash right now. I would sit and think, I'd say thank you. And I'd sit and think, am I going to get out of this building? I wouldn't be like, wow, $1 million. Oh, I wouldn't get excited. I'd be like, that's unusual. Fuck. That's what I'd think. I'd poker face it, but that's what would go through my brain. Because if I was excitable, wow, $1 million. And you'll give me more? Wow, that boom. That's the end of the game, right? You can't be excitable. There's a time and a place when you're with very, very select people in very, very private environments, you can be excitable. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. People get excited and they talk too much and they get happy and da-da-da. And it's fine at a certain echelon, but once you reach the upper echelons of life, you have to really start analyzing risk reward. Especially in the modern world, look at me now, right? I just took a huge risk. I'm a misogynist and I'm evil and I just want a boat with 30 girls. If one of them were to have turned on me, imagine the bullshit that would have come through this. That's a risk. And I had to analyze the risk, had a conversation with all the girls in advance, made it clear they all had their own separate bedrooms, that operate extremely professionally, CCTV on the boat. I couldn't just be some jackass, let's all just go get drunk, let me see everyone get drunk at a sex fest. You have to be pro, you have to be professional about things. And the sloppy guy wouldn't have done that in my position. He was going, hey, I got a boat, I got girls, I got booze, I got money, And I'll just say to them, look, if you know things, even though I don't do anything wrong, but if you know even who I associate with, you know things, then you have to lie. Why isn't it easier if you just don't know? Then you got to lie, right? So let's just
I'm working. What's work? Work's work. You're on a jet.
You're on a jet.
Enjoy the jet. Right? So I keep certain things from them because it makes it easier than them having to worry about a false narrative or a lie. In the event of whatever, or if we break up, then what, right? So I'm very careful of that. I'm very, very careful who I talk around as well. Like if there's random, like on the yacht, me, Tristan, and my cousin, we were just with 30 girls on the yacht. We didn't talk business once. We talked business one night, whatever was asleep. A couple times, like Luke went to go, hey man, I'll message you. We'll be sitting in the same room, WhatsApp. This is people. Loose lips sink ships. Doesn't matter if you're doing nothing wrong. You gotta be careful who you're talking around. They listening to shit. And in the modern world, they record shit. Like you don't want to, even if it's a 0.1% chance, but what's the upside? Like there's no upside.
Yep.
So why take the 1% chance? Risk reward. I'm very, very careful. And especially with women, not because they're necessarily malicious, because women in general don't have to worry about the certain things I'm talking about in terms of professionalism. There's a whole bunch of beautiful, smart, great women out there who just go through life and they're just Instagramming everywhere they go and they forgot their keys and do. And if she's too close to your circle, it's just an in. It's an in to get you. And you gotta be careful. And it's amazing whether it's the 1970s Soviet spies or the 2022 mafia, when they wanna get a dude, it's a chick. You either send a new chick or you watch his old chick or you find his girlfriend. Even a bounty hunter today. Let's say I was wanted by the police and they couldn't find me. Who's his girl? Bet he's gone there. Bet he needs some sex. Go put a car there. Every time, every fucking time. You gotta keep this shit in order. And the women I associate with have enough respect for me to go, okay, I don't know. Fine. Just, I love you, love you. When they arrested El Chapo's girl, didn't you say I didn't know he was a criminal? I thought he was a chef or some shit. I was like, perfect. She doesn't even know I lie anymore. He's a chef. He told me he's a chef. He's a chef.
He's a billionaire chef.
He's a chef. Dude's a chef. I don't know. The guy's a chef. So, and it's actually interesting because a lot of men want to brag to women because we want to show status. So you want to sit there and brag about all the good things you do, but there is a downside to that. There is a degree of downside. I was in Moldova. No, I take that back. I was in Constanta, Romania 9 years ago before I moved there. And I was in a club and I must have been the only foreign person in the club. And there was a 11 out of 10 Moldovan girl, the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. And I went over and I tried to talk to her and she said, yeah, I only drink champagne. And at the time I didn't have that much money. I said, you only drink champagne. Well, I'm finished drinking for the night, but it's very nice to meet you because I couldn't afford a bottle of champagne, so I'm styling. So I was like, I don't have any, I said, I'll finish drinking for the night, but it's very nice to meet you. What's your name? Okay, nice to meet you. Left the club, whatever. Next day I came, I saw her on this table, champagne show. Next table, champagne show. And while she was doing all this, we were kind of catching each other's eye, looking a little bit, And a couple times I caught her at lunch. Constanta's like a beach town. I caught her at lunch, I spoke for a little bit. And she kept asking me for champagne. I was like, listen, you are absolutely gorgeous. I think you and I are gonna have a long and happy future together, but I'm not gonna buy you champagne. I'll tell you why later. I put mystery on it. So I can't tell you broke, right? You gotta put mystery spin. So I'm gonna tell you why I don't buy champagne later. It's a long and interesting story. Once I can trust you, I'm gonna tell you why I won't buy you champagne. You can trust me now. I will tell you, not yet. Styling off. Anyway, as we got to know each other across the summer, eventually when we became friends, she came clean. She works for the club. She gets commission on champagne. Of course. The girls in the club, you're buying champagne for this thing. She gets a commission per bottle. What was interesting is this. She had on her phone a system. So she'd meet you, you'd buy her drinks the first night. You'd go a separate date the second night, you'd buy her drinks. Third day, she'd send a pre-decide already in her notes how you live far away and she can't fall in love again. She's only been with one man her whole life. She falls in love with you, she's gonna have her heart broken, and she's scared. And then she'll ghost you for 3 days. Then eventually after begging, you'll get her back, but she wants to come, but not on her own because she's scared. She wants to bring 3 friends and she'll go to this restaurant. She wants to drink this champagne. Boom, boom, a commission. And she'll show me in her Facebook message, every dude, playbook, every fucking guy, one after another, every night of the week, all just falling for the playbook. She goes, you're the only guy who never bought me champagne. I was like, yeah, well, I didn't tell her I didn't have any money. I was just proud of her. And I was like, I've been around the world. I know some things. So anyway, I played it off. And she was sitting there telling me, and when she was going through it, scared to me, she goes, yeah, this guy on Facebook, yeah, he's from Turkey and he does private airplanes and da-da-da-da-da. And this guy, she's telling all their jobs, the money they're making, where they live, the town they're in, because these dudes are sitting there talking, I'm so rich, baby, I'm so rich. You want champagne? I got it. I do this. And I was sitting there thinking, whichever mob boss picks this girl up is going to have a whole bunch of targets to go robbing all night long because dudes just can't shut the fuck up. And this is when I was 24, 25. Ever since then, I style it off. What's your job? Oh, I work, it depends where I am. If I'm like in Romania, I say I make papanash, which is a Romanian donut. It's a national food.
You're the donut guy.
I say, I make papanache, baby. The papanache, like, I'm number one. Like, I just style off. None of them know my job. None of them know what I do. None of them know because you don't know.
Papanache.
You don't know they know. So yeah, I'm very, very careful when it comes to talking to women for that. She is by coincidence Islamic. She is Muslim.
Okay.
She's half Turkish, half Romanian. But a lot of my women are kind of similar. They're like, oh, hi. And they don't really talk too much. And that's just something I've asked them to do in a very polite way. Say, look, I talk to lots of people and you guys are fine, right? But I'll tell the truth. I say, I talk to a lot of unsavory people. I have a lot of people who know me, whose hands I shake, who are bad people. They don't need to know too much about me. I don't even really want them to see you. It's unfortunate and they catch me on the street and you're with me. That's a bad time. I wish it didn't happen. The last thing you need to be doing is going and saying, hello, my name is this. Just don't talk to nobody. And by extension, it's the same thing with violence. I had a conversation with my girls as well. My girls are completely trained. I said, listen, if I'm ever attacked or anything ever happens to me, run, scream and run. Don't be trying to get in the way or say, don't hit him or some bullshit. Just fucking leave. Because I know dudes don't care that you're a chick. You gotta get out of here. So I try and be as protective as possible. I'm not trying to be controlling. I just try and protect them from situations. Just say hi, be polite, hi. Don't say your name. Don't go over there. Oh, I knew him from here. Yeah. We've been together this long. I'm from this country. Just leave it. And some people can find it weird and rude, but I think I can, overall, the people I know, and I can style it off and they can understand why it is that way. And it's just a better dynamic for me as well. I mean, Ali's Ali, right? But Mayweather's never lost. He's never lost to anybody. And I liked him because he was so clinical and so precise. And he took his ego out of it and said, I want to have a longer career than everyone else. So I'm going to focus on not getting hit and hitting him. I may not get the knockout. All right? I don't need the knockout. I've won. Just win, clinical, chess. Win, payday. Win, payday. Your fight was boring. 100 bill, whatever. 100 mil, whatever. Boring, cool. Next, win. Da-da. He was really smart. So I like Mayweather. He's someone I've always looked up to and I really respect. That's a really good question. I think that it's kind of difficult now in the world because also a lot of the people who are propagated to the top and perpetuated into absolute global stardom, I'm not sure if all of them have done it through good intentions. You can look at the things we said from Logan earlier, etc. But I think even now, I have the most respect for the common man. I think I have so much respect for the common man. I say it all the time to Tristan. Me and him will have our most in-depth conversations when we're in a S-Class on our way to the private jet and we see a street sweeper at 3 a.m. in Romania knowing he's getting $200 a month. And me and T will look at him and go, I respect that. Like, it just, man, there are so many people out here just living hard lives, and I have so much respect for them. And we can talk about the ones who make it, but there's so many people who don't make it, and that's difficult. And I have so many stories. I don't want to tell any more stories because I can go on forever. But even little things I do, like at buffets, nobody ever compliments the chef at buffets. So whenever I go to a buffet, I try and say, "Bro, did you cook this? This is great. I did it in Cyprus at some resort." I swear, like I gave him $1 million to smile on his face. He'd never been complimented in 15 years of cooking meatballs. He was the happiest man in the world because he just slaves away for fucking nothing. And I think a lot of people are out here just giving their life force up for nothing in return.
He wanted respect.
He wanted respect, and I gave him a little bit for some meatballs, and I could tell he'd never been complimented in history. Most people would say, "Hey, where's the plates?" You know, so I have respect for the common man, anyone who's out here doing what they have to do. There's no such thing, and I know I have a lot of money, but there's no such thing as shameful work. If you're a man and you're getting up and you're working, doesn't matter what it is, we need people who do these jobs, and I have absolute respect for you. And when I talk about escaping the matrix, I'm not saying that, you know, if you're working a normal job, you suck. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you want to live the life I live and you want to have all the things I have, then you have to escape. Of course, it's going to be difficult, but I have absolute respect for anyone who gets up in the morning and faces their demons and gets it done, because life as a man is fucking hard. It is really hard. I think from an ideological perspective, it's nice to have certain figures because it certainly inspires the morale of the sensible as opposed to the morale of the insane. I believe that. However, I believe that the power structures are set up in such a way that the president doesn't truly matter. I don't know if you saw, there's an interview with Putin when Trump first became president. You can find it on YouTube. He said something very interesting. He said, "What do you think about Trump? Trump has all these ideas about Russia and how he wants to change the world, etc." Putin said, I think he said 4. I've sat through 4 US presidents so far. They all come with very interesting ideas, and then the men with the black suits and the briefcases come and explain to them how things are done, and then they leave, and I'm still here, and nothing really changes. Putin said it. Putin understands. And I think for this reason, winning a vote is nice to say ha-ha to the other side. Winning a vote is nice to say, look, there's still some common sense in the world. It's certainly a morale boost from the actual skin and bones, from the actual blood and grit of how it would change society. I don't think it changes anything. And for that reason, and because I don't want to be suicided, I am absolutely not on. My view on Putin is very controversial. Do I wrap this up with this? I think Putin is misunderstood. I think he's a misunderstood man. I think that he's been in power for a very long time. I think he's extremely smart. I think he genuinely cares about Russia and Russians above other countries. We're living in a world now where it's very interesting to see European leaders self-implode and self-destruct their own gas prices, their own governments, their own businesses, their own populace's living standards because of some idealistic notion that they need to help a nation that they have no direct link to. If I'm a leader of X country, I should be concerned about X country more than I'm concerned about the plight of whatever country. That's my duty and job. I think it's very interesting that most politicians in the world today don't seem to give a shit at all about their constituents. They care about aligning themselves to higher ideologies and self-imploding their own countries and the living standards for this ideology.
Yeah.
Putin doesn't do that. It's Russia first, Russia. Russians, Russia. Russians, Russia. And for that, I respect him. Most other countries don't do that and won't do that. So I find that very, very interesting about him. I think the current situation is absolutely and utterly unfortunate. I think what happened is terrible. War on all sides is always terrible, terrible. I think it's unfair that we discussed Ukraine at length when this has been happening across the Middle East and Africa for decades and nobody ever gave a shit. But now people seem to give a shit about proxy wars and unfair conflicts and people dying. It's always been happening and nobody cared because they're brown or black. But now we care because they're white Europeans and their chicks are hot. So I think there's a degree of hypocrisy there. He's certainly not the bad guy everyone's saying he is. He has a point, and his point is logical and it makes sense, and he has a point to defend. And I think that to a degree he was forced into make the moves he was made. I'm glad you asked that because when they attacked me, when the Matrix attacked me, they said that I purport misogyny and I believe in chauvinistic principles and all this absolute garbage. And when they said that about me, I understood it's very important that I create a list and explain to the world exactly what I believe. So without looking unprofessional, I've written it down. I would like to actually say I've written 41 tenets of thing I believe in. And if you hear any that you disagree
41
with. 41
tenets.
41 tenets.
Interesting.
If you disagree with any of them, I would love to hear feedback on them. So these are the 41 things I believe in most. And before I read out this framework, it doesn't matter if you are a Muslim, a Christian, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, weak or strong. I think if any man lives true to these tenets, they're gonna have a fantastic relationship with life. And also they're gonna be a good force and good influence for people around them. And I think that all in all, they're gonna enjoy their experience, their human experience, and the people close to them will also enjoy their presence. So that's what this is about. These are the 41 things I believe. So here we go. I believe that men have the divine imperative to become as capable, powerful, and competent as possible in this life. I reserve my human right to hold my own beliefs and practice them as I see fit and allow other people the same right to believe and act as they wish. I prefer loving, rewarding, consensual relationships with beautiful, positive, and virtuous women. I believe men and women are different and that each has their own unique and important strengths and abilities. I believe men have the sacred duty to protect and provide for the important people in their lives. I believe men have the sacred duty to protect the innocence and sanctity of their children and reserve the right and responsibility to raise their children as they see best to ensure their long-term happiness and success. I believe that men have the sacred duty to raise strong, capable, and honorable sons. I believe that men have the sacred duty to raise kind, feminine, and virtuous daughters. I utterly disapprove of violence within romantic or familiar relationships. I support good and honest governments and will obey their laws. I prefer to only conduct business dealings with trusted and vetted brothers. I believe that a man has the sacred duty to hold true to his word and do exactly what he says he will do. I believe that a man's life is difficult and that he has the sacred duty to become strong to handle such difficulty. I believe men are personally responsible for their actions and for the results they achieve in their lives. I believe in emotional control and the vital need to become disciplined and professional in all things. I believe that men have the sacred duty to approach everything in life from a position of strength. I believe that all men have the sacred duty to become men of upright and virtuous character and live above all possible reproach. I believe it is incumbent upon me to ruthlessly identify my own weaknesses and limitations, and I eagerly work to overcome them and become more capable in all realms. I seek to improve my personal freedom to think, act, and live true to my masculine imperative in all ways. I believe each man has a sacred duty to mold the physical body into the strongest, most resilient, and most capable version of itself. I believe that men have the sacred duty to rigorously train themselves, both physically and mentally, every day. I believe that I have the sacred duty to only eat the highest quality foods possible. I reserve the right to protect the sanctity of my bloodstream and make my own decisions about medical care and procedures. I affirm the importance of endlessly improving my mental faculties through diligent work, study, and practice. I believe in acquiring wealth and abundance in order to improve my life and do good for those I care about. I believe in the merits of healthy competition and constantly encourage all men to seek out competition to improve themselves. I believe that masculine brotherhood is essential to men's mental health, happiness, and success, and I relentlessly encourage men to meet together, train together, and work together. I maintain the trust of my brothers through reverent silence regarding our most sacred and shared experiences. I believe in honoring my ancestors and living in a way that would make most of them proud of me today. I reserve the right to administer difficult rites of passage for our young men to allow them to earn the rank of manhood. I affirm the importance and need for travel and adventure as men. I seek to help men overcome poor mental health through embracing hard work, physical improvements, and shared masculine brotherhood. I reserve the right to make the best choices I can at the time to protect myself and respect my mental health. I do good in the world and seek to help those less fortunate. I believe all men have the responsibility to lead and guide those they care about for greater health, prosperity, and happiness. I choose to only interact with those who are respectful and civil to me in return for my own respectfulness and civility. I reserve the freedom to speak and refer to others as I believe is best and most truthful. I reserve the right to choose my company and include only those whom I believe are best for my health, happiness, and success. I believe I have an imperative to only spend my time in a way that I determine is beneficial, uplifting, and empowering to myself and others. I choose to only allow myself to be influenced by those who I believe have my best interests in mind. And the final one, each day I dedicate myself anew to create the greatest possible positive impact on the world and do the work necessary to achieve a greater masculine excellence across all realms of human endeavor.